All right, my name is Jim McGregor. I'm the chairman of APCO Greater China. You know, with the Trump administration in, there's a lot of consternation over China trade and what their policies are. So I'm advocating that the Trump administration do three things. Number one, the Joint Commission on Commerce and Trade and the Strategic and Economic Dialogue. These are the two main dialogues between the U.S. and China, and they're big dialogues, and they have hundreds of people fly back and forth, and they happen annually. What has happened is they have become the way China controls us, because we love process. Our lawyers and bureaucrats love to be working the machine, and so China will tie us up in that process. And meanwhile, China is all about outcomes, and over here they're getting away with all their industrial policies, etc. So I'm recommending that we disband those and change the behavior of the dialogue, and we institute an annual 2-day Sunnyland-style meeting. You'll remember about 3 years ago, Xi Jinping and Obama met in Sunnylands outside of LA for a 2-day meeting between the presidents. We need to institute that every year, and it's got to be about deliverables, and it's got to be about solving big problems. I mean, everybody in the world says that, you know, there's nothing more important than the U.S.-China bilateral relationship. Well, if it's that important, why don't we have a purpose-built meeting for these two presidents? And also, we're now running governments where it seems the two presidents are strong men and will make their own decisions. Then you can reconstitute the Strategic and Economic Dialogue and the Joint Commission on Commerce and Trade to follow on and enforce and really get something done instead of having the same empty statements every year. Number two is bring back the trade tools we lost when China joined the WTO. We lost something called Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 that allowed you to do sanctions and penalties when there was trade problems with another country. The problem is, once China got into WTO, you can't use those things against fellow WTO members. But China has a very creative way of using WTO. If WTO works for China, they enforce it. If it doesn't work, they just pretend it didn't happen. The third thing is the TransPacific Partnership, because it actually would be so much better for the U.S. than for China, because it creates an economic group of economic entities. You get rid of that. China now is doing its own trade agreement with Asia. America and nobody on this side of the Pacific is included. And they have a value proposition. Their value proposition is, if you play with us, we will put a lot of money and infrastructure into your country, and we'll open our market to you, because it's not hard to open your market to Malaysia or Thailand, because they're not such huge economies. You know, China can absorb some of their products. That's China's value proposition. What is America's value proposition? Without the TPP, is our value proposition a couple extra aircraft carriers in the South China Sea? That may be it. So it's a real mistake. So we have a president that loves his name and he loves branding. So I really think we reconstitute it as a Trump-Pacific Partnership. And the new TPP, we can paste the president's name across Asia and show our commitment to the economic area of Asia. So I advocate those three things. We'll see how it goes.